Hey gang, this is Sahim. In this tutorial, so to speak, I want to address some questions that I've always been asked in regards to what martial arts system is the best. And to be honest, since every last one of us and everybody that you know is of a different body type, different height, different weight, different conditioning, there's no such thing as the best martial arts system. So what I'd like to do is cover your comfort zones. Of all the systems that exist, they all complement the necessary need at hand. Need meaning whatever the occasion is. If you were, say, a Taekwondo expert, how effective is that in between two parked cars? You got your front and your back, and nothing on the side. You might end up being a boxer. Now, if you're a boxer in the doorway, again, you might have limitations. So it all depends on you, your system, whatever works best for you. Start again.
You want to?
No. Hey gang, this is Sahim. I'm here at my gym at LA Fitness in Fort Lauderdale. I just wanted to address some of the questions that I've been asked. Many people ask what martial arts system is the best. And to be honest, there really isn't a best. It's only what complements your person. As you know, everybody that you know is of a different body type, body weight, different conditioning, in shape, out of shape, etc. So pick a system that actually builds upon something. Start off here, take it for a couple of years, start off into the next system, a couple of years, etc. So in the end, being a practitioner myself of many soft and hard martial arts, I found that the more I experiment and delve into something else, the more complete of an understanding I get in regards to my body. So moral to the story is, whatever it is that you learn, hopefully it's building upon you as a person. And that's what Bruce Lee used to talk about. You should grow and express yourself as an artist. So right now, let me just address something called comfort zones. If I was a practitioner of Taekwondo or Hapkido or whatever it is, it's a lot of footwork. So obviously, a silat as well. So a lot of this footwork is my comfort zone here, 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 behind me, etc. That's cool and all, but I'm a little bit too tall to try and put my foot by your ear. Another thing you should know is, always pretend that your opponent knows exactly what you know. So don't be sloppy with your exercise. So anyways, comfort zone. Bam. Whatever it is with the kids, right? As far as I'm concerned, there's a gap here, and I need to bridge the gap to get into my comfort zone, which is more like boxing. And if you come a little closer, you can see. So, boxing. So you move from 1 to 2 to grappling, 3. Many systems exist. Even Chinese boxing has takedowns. BJJ has takedowns. And when you're here, you have other weapons to deal with. You got your forehead, your elbows, finger jabs, knees, etc. The list goes on. So again, build upon whatever strengthens your core and what strengthens your comfort zones. I personally like to mix it up. And the last thing I want to do is be way out here. So if you're a kicker, I'm not programming, projecting what's going to happen next. But if I know that that's your strength, I want to neutralize that and get to where I need to be. So what other systems out there exist, do your homework, do your research, and figure out which one works best. So that's roughly it for today. Keep going, keep going. So now, I just want to practice hitting the heavy bag. A lot of martial art classes, you're punching the air, and then, especially women, then they come home and they're like, oh wow, Sahim, look what I learned. See, I'm punching, look, I'm punching, and the whole body and stuff is moving, and you might as well be telegraphing that punch from your back pocket. And that's cool, not all of us are meant to be fighters, or etc. But if you're gonna learn to do something, I suggest learn to do it correctly. Get something that you can hit. Get something that you can feel where your strength is, and that will resist. It's a lot of fun to actually put a little medicine in the bag. One last thing, no matter what you learn, without proper footwork, everything is useless. If I'm leaning back here and I'm punching, there's nothing here. If I'm leaning right here and I'm punching and I miss, I could overshoot. So you have to understand where your center of gravity is and your leg strength, so you can move around a target at any time. Never cross. If I see that you cross, I'm tearing you apart. Never cross. If you're don't like to be moving around and you're crossing getting all caught up, easily enter in and take you out. So what I'd like to do here is practice a couple of punches. You take a practice on your own. This is your straight or your jab. What's your jab for? Gauge the distance. Where is it at? Where's my target? Because you always want to set up. This is not the knockout. This is the setup. A couple of times. 1, 2, bam. 3. 1, 2, bam. 1, 2, and come under. So you're setting it up. So this is the distance. 2. What's your jab for? I want to see what you do. I want to see how you react to an object in front of your face. I want to change up the speed. Go a little bit faster, go a little bit slower, just to see what you do. Distance and see what you do. What are you going to do to this? What are you going to do to that? Right? The third reason I use the jab is the setup, as I mentioned. Distance, watch your behavior, setup. Distance, what do you do when I feint? Setup. Setup. So you always want to come in with the power, but never come straight at the power. Because again, your opponent knows what you know, so you always want to set it up. If that makes sense. How to use the jab. How I use the jab, sorry. There's always a right and a wrong way, but then there are many ways, and all of our bodies are different, so use the jab as you see fit. Where is he at? How do you behave? Set up. Set up. And balance, as I mentioned. If you're off balance, and I kick, if you're coming towards me, that can put me off balance. So every time you initiate a kick, or a punch, and as it's coming towards me, it's not pushing me off. I'm focused, I'm centered. In Wing Chun, they teach you 70-30. 70% of your weight's here, 30% here. In case you get a foot sweep, you can come around and still behave. So in essence, to me, boxing, fighting, combat in itself is actually kind of fun. You do it long enough, your body ultimately sculpts into the perfect specimen. You'll discover that you have little muscles in places that you never thought you had before. And then when you watch the fights on TV, you watch the fights in movies, you'll be more critical and say, oh, that punch was way too wide, like the old West, come around like this. It's all Hollywood, just so that you can see. That's different. But then when you watch the MMA fighters or the pros, you can start to see that actually there's technique involved. I brought my sister to a fight once, and she was like, oh, what is this? It's so barbaric. All they're doing is punching on each other. So as I'm teaching her why he's setting up what's going on, then she became the clairvoyant and starting to predict what's going to happen next. Oh, he's probably going to take down, because he does that 2 or 3 times in a row. Often boxers count. So if you're fighting a Western boxer, most likely it's 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're hip to them counting, get around that. So anyways, it can be entertaining. It could be a release. I build websites. My company bears my name, so therefore I take the glory and the blame for stuff that don't go right and wrong. And I need to release, I need to let people know that it's okay. But then this thing right here, and another thing. What did I tell you? Here's my money. If that makes sense. I'm just being facetious. But in a nutshell, take fighting, take combat, take boxing of any kind lightly. Our bodies are different. Like I said, you'll discover pains that you never had before. And if you're in such a rush to be that knockout champion, that's on you. But don't forget, when injuries happen, that sets you back 6 months, 8 months, a whole year, and who knows, you can end up breaking something. They tell me all the time you're supposed to pad up, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm a little bit hard-headed, because if I'm in a situation you don't like what I have to say, and you and your cronies are trying to step to me, I'm not going to say, hey, wait a second, let me go get my pads. You understand? So, as far as I'm concerned, you should always be ready for anything. This year, I want to talk about a hook. I see many boxers or fighters or aspiring fighters do a hook that's like this, or they're afraid to get hit. That's the number one thing. Many people who take up boxing are afraid to get hit. So they always want to slap box like with their uncles and cousins when they were kids. In order to do a proper hook, you need to be in hook distance. Whether you're southpaw, left hand, right hand, doesn't matter. Just follow this. As long as I'm here, less than arm's length away, it's not my shoulder doing the punching, it's not my elbow, it's not a chest press, it's my waist. So technically, my arm and elbow is just the stationary thing, and my whole top part of my torso is moving. Once you understand the power in your waist, and power from your heels, I'll talk about that later, the power in your waist is really important. So, a proper hook is here, bam, bam. And it could be to the ribs, it could be to your jaw, it could be to your nose, it could be anything. But again, it's not that. To the midsection, chin, the jaw, the ribs, floating ribs. It's all essential. I'm not, picture this. If I'm delivering with these knuckles to your floating ribs, I want to make sure that you feel it. I want to make sure that you think 3 times about asking me for some of this medicine. You're not feeling good, right? 3 times. Oh man, that hurt. Oh man, I picked the wrong guy to mess with. Make sense? So it's good to practice getting it right. You can't do this in the class and you're bouncing and all this pretty shit. It's pretty stuff because everybody else is doing it. This is great. This is great. That fills up the room and that pays the rent. But you want to make sure that, again, the waist, you want to make sure that this opponent feels whatever it is that you're initiating. Not necessarily to stop them, but at least to make them think about what's going on. Sorry, I lost my light. So this is a hook with the waist. Have to be close in there at all times. You can come underneath and above. Boxers like to slip, bob, and weave. You slip. There's a hook. Slip. There's a hook. Train this way. Train to do 2 things at once. I'm getting out the way, but I can get out the way and hook at the same time. And jab at the same time. Same time. Where was I? Hard-headed. Pads, taping, keeps your wrists tight. That's a competitive sport because chances are you're hitting the same object 20 rounds. It's a long stinking time to be hitting somebody. So it makes sense you want to tape it up because after a while, you lose strength. But in the real world, you don't have that luxury. You don't have that time. So practice on hitting something. Get the canvas bag full of rice. Nail it to your wall. Just constantly hit it. After a while, the nerves become numb. Therefore, if you slap box, you won't say, oh, and there's no real damage. So you numb the nerves a little bit, but at the same time, you're conditioning your body and your weapons for force. We're just playing, and I'm like, oh, get out of here, man. I want you to go, oh, quit it, Sahim, you play so rough. It's good. One other thing. Bridging the gap for a takedown. As I mentioned, you always want to feint or lead with something to set up something else. So, this is a space, and it's not so much I see an opening, something happens, and I'm reacting. Something happens, I'm reacting. They're used to reboxing all day. That's a good move. Come in, and shit, I had one other thing. Do you have any questions? Mr. Cameraman, any questions, any questions, any questions?
No questions.
One thing I can't stand, but I understand because it sells tickets, are the Hollywood actors with their fight action sequences. One thing I'm tired of seeing is the girls that jump up, 2 legs around the head, spin this way, and the big old 260-pound guy goes flying. It's all great for tickets. All the superhero movies, that's great. But in reality, a finger jab, knuckles to the throat, to the nose, to the eyes, to the sternum, know where the liver is. Any well-placed punch to these areas is enough to make somebody say, what am I about to do now? Because oftentimes, many people who fight are our ego. Yo, man, what's up, man? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? I got a lot of cousins who are coming up in high school, and I'm teaching them, yeah, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe with all that what's up stuff, what's up stuff. You stay ready and give them something to think about. I call it medicine. Something to think about. And don't forget, the coward is the one that comes around you. I grew up in Boston, and I'm not going to say I lost a number of friends to the streets, to gang stuff, but every time I hear of some kid losing his life, it's because they're getting shot. Not like the Wild West in the front. Oftentimes somebody comes around and takes them out. It is what it is. So the bully, it could be 5, 10 kids, doesn't matter. The bully is not the one you're concerned with. Stay focused with the crew, see what they do. Use the bully as an example. Now I can see everybody, if that makes sense. The bully's talking at, yeah, yo, what's up, what's up, what's up, slap box. Change your position. Use him. I don't know if you've ever practiced Aikido, but I use it as crowd control. In my next lesson, I'll talk about geometry in boxing. So when you're using circles, you're powering up energy. It's awesome. But when I grab an opponent, and it feels right to make a Royal Tenkan or Aikido move, I'm using this person to clear out my circle, my surroundings, so I can see where everybody is, what everybody's doing. If that makes sense. Again, don't forget balance. If you're not unbalanced, nothing works. So, this is a message for the young guys. The antagonist is here. Yo, dude, I heard you said something about my girl in the Twitter and the blah, 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 and I don't like what you have to say. But you know, this kid never travels alone. Therefore, you should know that whomever is with it, I don't care what other kids are around, this kid has friends that are going to maneuver around you and try and get you from the backside. One thing is certain, this is the one with the most mouth. Give you something to think about. Take control of the situation. Now, I'm not trying to teach you do this, then this, because you'll never remember it. Your body never remembers. Okay, now I need to gouge his eyes out. Now I need to step on his trachea. It doesn't work that way. Just don't be in that situation. Do what you got to do to get out of that situation. If you can, walk away. There's no harm in walking away. I was a kid too. So I understand being cool, being popular, not looking stupid. Everybody's into sneakers, and if I got all white sneakers and you don't like it because I was able to get some white sneakers and you step on them, you know what? I got some soap, let me take it off. But don't do that again, if that makes sense. So stand your ground, don't be afraid to be who you are. Also, keep your eyes open, and the best defense is not to get in the situation in the first place. You never know, nobody's promised tomorrow. So now I'm just gonna hit the bag a few times, and you just keep it rolling. Keep moving closer. Called punching from the waist. punching from the chest.